Every Spider-Man Ever presents Amazing Spider-Man issue 35. Because the legal system in the Marvel Universe is broken, in a different way to the way it's broken in real life, Mark Raxton, also known as the Molten Man, is let out of prison. He celebrates by immediately committing a crime, robbing a jewelry store in a mask to disguise his golden skin. The shopkeeper tries to shoot him, and the bullet does little against a man made of metal, and Raxton smashes the shopkeeper's gun in his fist as revenge. But the gunshot is enough to draw Spider-Man's attention. When he arrives on the scene, Raxton pretends to surrender and then sucker punches Spidey and flees, losing Spider-Man and shedding his costume in the process. No one can tie the Molten Man to this robbery. Except, it seems, for Peter Parker, who thinks to himself that it was like hitting metal when he punched that strange man. Metal? The Molten Man! It all makes sense. So he sneaks into Mark Raxton's apartment when he isn't there and places a spider tracer on his suit. After a number of false positives, Spider-Man eventually finds the Molten Man committing another crime. He takes pictures of the whole affair, from the disguise to the way the Molten Man breaks the lock with his fist, before the spider signal announces Spider-Man's presence and he swings down to fight. The fight is literally an excuse to let the letterer Artie Simek go wild with sound effects, and amounts to Spider-Man and the Molten Man just punching each other backwards and forwards. Eventually, the Molten Man runs home, only to find Spider-Man has beat him there, so they fight again, just in a different location. Spidey has also prepared a web rope while he was waiting, and with some fancy leaping and dodging, he manages to hog tie the Molten Man, just like last time. But this time it's different, the Molten Man cries. There's no evidence that the Molten Man did anything. He was in disguise. But Raxton is soon proved wrong when Spider-Man delivers some newly developed photographs that show everything, including the Molten Man shedding his disguise. Later, at the Daily Bugle, Peter Parker is ready to sell the rest of those photographs and bracing himself to see Betty Brant again. But instead, he runs into Betty's replacement, who, at Betty's request, gives him back a photograph of himself. Peter is convinced that she's run off to marry Ned Leeds and looks down at the ironic inscription on the photograph. To Betty, forever, Peter. He throws it in the trash and leaves, images of Betty haunting him. Thanks for watching, and while you decide what to watch next, here's a fun fact about this issue. This is the first issue where Irving Forbrush was mentioned within a story. While he would later become a comedy hero himself, at the time he was just an in-joke in Stan Lee's soapbox and letter pages.